Sorry guys, I'm doing my makeup. But guys, I want to introduce a brand new little series here. We're getting down to it. We're about a week and a half before the draft. Actually, it's Wednesday, April 20th. The draft is in a week and 1 day because it's Thursday the 28th. So we are officially 8 days before the draft, and I'm introducing a brand new, quick, rapid-fire series so I can get my stuff on the record, and we can look back in 3 or 4 years to see how many of these prospects I got right. And guys, today, to kickstart this top 5 series, we're going with the top 5 guaranteed busts. 5 players that I guarantee will not live up to wherever they are drafted. I've got my top 5 list. I've got an honorable mention. Let's talk about the honorable mention first. It's going to be Boye Mafe, who is a pass rusher from Minnesota, being mocked late first round, early second round. A guy like this, I like to consider these guys all athleticism, no production. Last year it was Jason Owe, and he kind of proved me wrong because he had a good rookie year. I think he changed his name to like Owe or some shit. I don't know. But overall, every year you'll get a few of these pass rushers where they've got the athletic traits to be NFL stars. They're fast, they're quick, but they just had no production in college. And it's like, more times than not, I'm going to think that prospect is going to be a bust. There's a disconnect. Like, you got to show me something in college. You got to do something. And this kid's college numbers were extremely underwhelming. The only reason he's being currently mocked late first, early second is due to the athletic traits, which are good and all, but I'm someone that needs production as well. And when you don't meet that criteria, we've seen it time and time again with different prospects. Solomon Thomas from Stanford, who went 3rd overall to the 49ers a few years ago. It's all athleticism, no production. Boye Mafe, if your team drafts him, I feel bad for you. He is my honorable mention. But let's get into my official top 5. Coming in at number 5, it's going to be Treylon Burks, the receiver from Arkansas, who I have compared to Corey Davis. I'm just not seeing it with this kid. Even before the combine, I was out on him being a first-round pick. He goes to the combine. I believe he measured in at 6'2". His numbers, his 40 time, it was all a letdown. Before the combine, people were talking about Treylon Burks being their number 1 overall wide receiver. That was ridiculous. I had said it was ridiculous. And make sure that's still recording. And guys, Treylon Burks, it's just not going to happen with him. It really isn't. He's Corey Davis 2.0. He's not elite at anything. And you're seeing him mocked currently to a team like the Green Bay Packers, who have 2 late first-round picks, Kansas City Chiefs, one of those teams. Treylon Burks, steer clear. He will be a bust. He is Corey Davis 2.0. He comes in at number 5 on my list of guaranteed busts. Let's move on to number 4. It's going to be Jermaine Johnson. This is kind of a hybrid pass rusher from Florida State. I never saw it with Jermaine Johnson. To me, he's another one of those guys where people fell in love with his traits. This is an effort player who should be a mid to late second round pick and who is currently being mocked inside the top 15 in most mock drafts. I've seen him at number 12 to the Vikings. I've seen him as high as number 8 to the Falcons. This is crazy. Jermaine Johnson, good effort player, but I just don't love his overall build. I think he's going to get bullied by NFL-sized offensive tackles. He had a nice, junior year at Florida State. Pretty good numbers, not going to lie. But again, one of these guys, I view him as he's more of a pressure player. When you start getting mocked early first round, mid first round, you got to be a game changer. And Jermaine Johnson is the exact guy I could see, get drafted 8th or 9th overall and just not live up to it. He might have a decent career, but 8th or 9th overall, no. This is a mid-second round player. I've never bought into the Jermaine Johnson hype. He is my number 4 on my list of guaranteed busts. Moving on to number 3, it's going to be Charles Cross. And I'm really concerned about the knees with Charles Cross. When you take a look at that Mississippi State air raid offense, a lot of Mississippi State's offense relies on extremely quick passes. So you would think they throw the ball all over the place. Their quarterback, Will Rogers, is attempting 45, 50 passes a game. Charles Cross is blocking. That's impressive, right? You're not allowing any pressures in 45 dropbacks, but everything is quick with Mississippi State. They throw really quick passes to their running backs, really quick wide receiver screens. Charles Cross his numbers are better than his play, and I'm concerned about his feet, his lateral movement overall. To me, he's not built right. He's very stiff. So Charles Cross, who currently I've seen him being mocked at number 8 overall, number 6 overall, the Seahawks maybe at number 9. So there, Charles Cross in the top 10, I think, and I've been on record as saying Trevor Penning, I guarantee Trevor Penning will be better than Charles Cross in terms of NFL career. For the offensive tackles, I would have Akeem Ekwonu as my number 1 offensive tackle, Evan Neal as my number 2 offensive tackle, Trevor Penning as my number 3 offensive tackle, and then probably not though, I'd probably go with someone else, maybe like Abraham Lucas in front of a Charles Cross. I'm just really concerned about Charles Cross, and I think a lot of it is people not understanding Mississippi State's offense, and when you look at the pressure rates, a lot of the times, Mississippi State is throwing the ball 1 second, 2 seconds into the actual, drop back. So there's really, the numbers are better than what Charles Cross was, but more so, I'm concerned about the feet. I'm concerned about his build. To me, again, he's very stiff. He's a very stiff player, and I could see him struggling with athletic NFL linebackers, athletic NFL defensive ends. In terms of his future. So he comes in at number 3. Number 2 on my list of guaranteed busts, it's Kenny Pickett. And guys, I found it interesting that I saw a story when it comes to Kenny Pickett with an NFL comparison. I think it was NFL.com, or no, it was ESPN. ESPN said Kenny Pickett's NFL comparison is Tony Romo, and I just thought, that is such best case scenario, like Tony Romo, because the funniest thing about it is, you think about Tony Romo, did Tony Romo do anything elite? Other than maybe being a good scrambler. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Tony Romo. Tony Romo was a good quarterback. If Kenny Pickett has a career like Tony Romo, I will be proven wrong, by calling him a guaranteed bust. But I just thought it was so perfect because when I went back and I watched Kenny Pickett against Clemson, the one thing you realize with Kenny Pickett, he does absolutely nothing elite. He has no elite trait. His arm strength is not elite. His mobility is not elite. Like Malik Willis, he has elite mobility. Carson Strong has an elite arm. Matt Corral is a Matt Stafford type gunslinger with a really good arm, and he's also a lot more mobile than Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett does not have a single elite trait, and I think people are also glossing over the fact that Kenny Pickett, in his 4 years at Pittsburgh, 3 of the years, he was extremely mediocre. And when I say mediocre, I'm being nice. I'm being nice when I say Kenny Pickett was mediocre those first 3 years at Pitt. Now, last year, he was amazing. He was in the Heisman race a little bit. I think he might have finished 4th or 5th. So he had a really good year last year, but those first 3 years, he was bad. And again, I just thought it was such a funny comparison to Tony Romo because if you're going best case scenario for Kenny Pickett, it has to be Tony Romo because Kenny Pickett does not do a single thing that is elite. Maybe he's a little mobile, but it's not elite. It's not like Malik Willis level of mobility. You guys get what I'm saying? So Kenny Pickett, I'm not buying it at all. I never bought, the first time I started doing these 2022 draft videos, I said Kenny Pickett was extremely overrated, and now we're seeing PFF rank him at number 48 overall on their big board. He's falling like a torpedo. If he goes 6th overall to Carolina, like I've seen him rumored a little bit, I don't think it's going to happen, but if he does, what a mistake that would be. Oh my goodness. Kenny Pickett comes in at number 2. My NFL comparison for Kenny Pickett was Alex Smith. And I do like that comparison. I really do. Coming in at number 1, this is it, guys. My number 1 guaranteed bust. It is Aiden Hutchinson. I'm kidding. It's not Aiden Hutchinson. It is, of course, Travon Walker, who has received some mock drafts in which he has been the #1 overall pick. I've seen mock drafts with Travon Walker as the #2 overall pick. The hype has gotten completely out of control on Travon Walker. I'm trying to come up with an NFL comparison for Travon Walker, and I guess you would say best case scenario. Best case scenario, I don't think this will happen. I'm just saying, DeForest Buckner, like that, he's like a hybrid defensive tackle, defensive end. There's really no position for him. This is another guy, they fall in love with the athleticism. There's very little college production, and I understand that Georgia had an unbelievable defense, and they spread the wealth. It's not like Nakobe Dean had unbelievable stats. It's not like Devontae Wyatt had unbelievable stats. But also, you know, Nakobe Dean's not being mocked first overall. Devontae Wyatt's not being mocked first overall. Jordan Davis is not being mocked first overall. And I understand that you would say Travon Walker's athleticism is better than all of those guys, which gives him a higher ceiling and more, potential. But guys, I always go back to it. When you look at the end, go back to the end of the national championship game between Georgia and Alabama. Travon Walker was a second-round pick. There has not been an ounce of competitive football played between any of these draft prospects, and Travon Walker moves up from a mid to late second-round pick to the potential #1 overall pick. Get out of here. That's ridiculous. He's probably guaranteed at this point to be a top 10 pick. We'll see if he goes at #2 to Detroit, but this is a guy with very little production. What does he play? Is he a defensive tackle? Is he a defensive end? He's a tweener. You could say, well, so is DeForest Buckner, but that's like best case scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. Steer clear of Travon Walker from Georgia. Georgia has an unbelievable defense that's getting drafted. I already touched on him. Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis, and Nakobe Dean, along with Lewis Seen and Channing Tindall. There's a lot of players, but guys, Travon Walker, he is my #1 overall guaranteed bust. So once again, my top 5 list, it's going to be Treylon Burks at #5, the receiver from Arkansas. Jermaine Johnson comes in at #4. He's a pass rusher, hybrid pass rusher from Florida State. #3 is Charles Cross, the offensive tackle from Mississippi State. #2, it's going to be Kenny Pickett, the quarterback from Pittsburgh. And #1, my #1 guaranteed bust, it is Travon Walker, the defensive, I guess you could say defensive end / defensive tackle from Georgia. This is on record. This is real. In 3 years, we'll see how well I did on these top 5 busts. My next video is going to be top 5 guaranteed stars, players that I know 100% will make multiple Pro Bowls, will make multiple All-Pros. That's going to be coming tomorrow, but I just wanted to kick this top 5 series off with the busts, guys. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I am, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.